Okay, I am back. Give me just a minute. I'll tell you what happened here in just a second. Let me get the chat opened up. Oh my gosh. Give me a minute here. I had let me see. Hang on. Give me 1 second. Nope. Hang on. I don't want to put that in there. Hold up. I'm trying to clean up something that I don't want logged in. Bear with me. Lord have mercy, girl. I had my second screen was hidden underneath a bunch of pages, and that's why I was getting all of these echoes. All right, can you see me now? All right, let me open up the chat. I think I got the chat open. Okay. I apologize, you guys. I think we're good. Okay. Oh my God. What happened is I had it set up where I didn't have to move my camera, and then I was going to have my be on the computer monitor and then switch over to the tabletop when I plugged the other one in. And I added myself as a guest, but I had to join, and the join was hidden by all my other pages. So it's okay. Y'all don't need to see my face anyways. Oh my Lord. Okay. Well, now that we've gotten all of that, 10 minutes wasted. Okay, let's get started. Welcome everyone. I'm Dawn Duval. I'm gonna go back and delete the previous video when we get done. But anyways, I'm Dawn Duval. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up. And I live in Fort Myers, Florida, and I have been doing this 15 years. You'd think that, haven't been doing the operating of this camera for 15 years. That's for daggone sure. But anyways, okay. Oh my God. I guess it's hard to practice when you're not live. And so you all get to see all my mix-ups. But you know what? It is what it is. So, all right. So today is our creation anticipation sketch, but I decided we would do a little one sheet wonder. It's a 6x6. And so I've got the measuring here. And if y'all want to screenshot that, you can. And it's a really easy one. And depending on how you make the cards, I've got the cards. What I've done is I've already got all the cards, the stock card base is cut and the inserts cut and all that stuff. So all I basically have to do is adhere everything. So it won't, and I've already stamped most of the sentiments, so we don't have to wait for all that. And then, so this is the actual sketch. And again, it's using a 6x6, and we're going to use the Peaceful Garden paper. And this is one of the pieces that we're going to use. I love this paper, and this is the back side. I just love this paper. I just love the colors and everything. And it can be Christmassy, or it can be whatever what you want it to be, right? All right. So then now I copied this, and dadgummit, I don't think I wrote the lady's name down. Here's a list for, which I thought was really good because I don't give you all of this. So if you're just starting out, here's a list of the sizes of the mats. Now, I did mine. These are cut at 3. For instance, this first cut will be 3 inches by 3 inches. She's got the mats 1/8 of an inch wider. I did mine at 1/4 of an inch. So it just depends on how much of the mat you want to be seen in your cards. Okay. So here are the pictures. This is for the card cutting. And then this one is for the mats. And I wrote mat sizes up there so that if you want to screenshot that, I'll put this on back again when we get done, so that you can, for those that are joining, can go ahead and take a picture of this. So we're going to go ahead and get started with this big piece of 6x6 paper. And I'm going to bring in the paper trimmer. And I am starting to do holiday cards because I'm doing the craft show that I told you all about. So I'm starting now. And then we leave Tuesday for Virginia. And we'll be back the following week from that Wednesday. So needless to say, I won't be getting anything as far as cutting and crafting done while I'm gone. I'll probably do some computer work, but outside of that, I won't be making anything. So anyways, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Now I've got my pattern. If it's got a pattern, then I'm starting with this as my top up here. Okay. If you have a random and it really doesn't make a difference, then you don't need to worry about how you cut it. So I'm going to take my first cut and I want to cut this at 3 by 3, which is going to, either way, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to turn this because I want, you know, let's just do it this way. Let's just do, yeah, 3, it's not going to matter. So let's go, this is at 6 inches. So I'm going to cut this at 3. So we're just going to cut this in half. Actually, never mind. I'm going to do it this way. I want the top, so I'm just want to be safe that I've got my top going in the direction that I want it. So I've turned it to the right because I want this to be my top. All right, so there's my first cut. So there's 2 pieces of 3 by 3. Okay, I'm going to bring this one down here. So now I'm going to cut the 3 by 3 square. So I'm going to bring this over here and line this up at 3. Whoops, let me get my paper cutter in the right spot. And I'm going to cut this at 3 inches. Okay, so that's my first one. I'm going to set that off to the side right here. I'll just cover that one up. And now we're going to take from the same one, we're going to take and cut 3 by 2. So it's already cut at 3. So I'm going to turn this and cut it at 2 inches. Okay, hang on. So we're going to cut it 2 inches. So this is the one we're cutting here. All right, so there's my 3 by 2. So I'm going to set that one right here. And then that's going to leave me my 1-inch pieces. So I'm going to turn this and I'm just going to cut this down at 3, 1 by 1. All right, and I'm moving the over to the right side where I have a 1-inch mark because it'd be easier for me to hold the paper. So I'm going to lay that there and cut off. And I've got one little 1-inch square. And then we're going to do that again. I'm going to move that over to the 1-inch mark. Make sure I've got it lined up on the 1-inch mark. Okay. And then we're going to cut that. So that gives us 2. So now we have our 3 little 1-inch pieces. Okay. All right. Now on the next piece, we want to do a 1-inch piece by 4. All right. So, but before I do that, I think I want to cut, the 2 by 2s, because that way I can cut off the 2 inches and then that will leave me my 4 inches because this is still at 6 inches, right? So I'm going to come in and first, I'm going to do this one first. So I'm going to cut 2 inches off. All right. And then we're going to turn this and I'm going to cut this by 2 inches. All right. So we're going to cut 2 inches there. All right, so there's my 2 by 2. So I'm going to lay that one there. And then this should be a 2 by 1. So we've got 2 inches, right? And then I've got this cut at 1 inch. So that's my 2 by 1 right there. Okay, you with me? All right, we're going to put that one probably would go like that because that's going to match up. So we're going to lay that one right there. All right, now I still have this piece, which is 4 inches. Okay. Now, don't forget, we can always use the back side of the paper. So if our design isn't going in the direction that we want, depending on how I've created that card, then we'll just flip it over. Okay. So we know this is at 4 inches, right? There's my 4-inch mark. So we're going to cut 2 at 4 by 1 inches. So again, I'm going to slide it over to the right side where my 1-inch mark is. And we're going to cut 1 strip there. And then I'm going to cut another 1 inch by 4. So we're going to go ahead and cut that one. All right. So now I have my 2 1-inch. It probably goes that way. 1 inch by 4 square rectangle. And now I've got a 4 by 1.5. So I'm going to take the 1 inch and just cut this in half. Okay. So we're going to bring this over to a 1/2 inch. Actually, I'm going to bring it. Yeah, it's a 1/2 inch. Let me line it up right on the 1/2 inch side. And I'm going to hold this down because obviously it's a small piece, right? So give me just a second. All right, we got it down and then I'm going to cut that in half. So now we have our 2 1/2 inch by 4 pieces. All right. Okay, so now we're going to start putting these guys together. So I'm going to start with, let me get my pieces out because I've got everything already kind of lined up. So I know what I'm doing here. All right, so we're going to use Secret C cardstock. And this one, and then I'll show you the card after we get done. I'll show you the card that I made that coordinates. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to pull out. Hang on. Oh, I've got it right here. Okay. So we're doing Secret C, and I cut this at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So it's going to be, and it's 4 1/4 by 11. So we're going to fold that in half. This kind of gives us like the tent card. It's a dark color, but I really like this color. So we're going to give this a good burnish with our bone folder, and we're going to go ahead and just start piecing all this together. We're going to just go as we go. All right, now I'm going to use, since our colors are Secret C, Cloud Cover, Misty Moonlight, and then of course white. So I'm going to use a base of Cloud Cover that's 4 by 5 1/4. So we'll go ahead and add this on here. So I'm just going to make the cards as we piece them together. Whoopsie, get glue in my hand. So, and if you're just joining, welcome everyone. All right, so we'll put that one there. And then we're going to come in, and I've got a 4 1/4 because I'm sorry, not 4. This is 3 by 3. So I've cut this 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. Okay. So you can see I've got a little bit more of the border. Now, if we cut it at an 1/8, like the template says 3 1/8, it would probably give you that much of a border. Let's just probably be about like that. So you have the choice of doing it either 3 1/8 or 3 1/4. It just really depends on what you want to have as a border. I'm going to go with the 3 by 3 1/4. So we'll go ahead and add this piece. And I'm going to pretty much show most of these flowers because I really think it's pretty. And I think this can be used easily as a Christmas card. So we're going to go ahead and add this right here. And I'm using the liquid glue, so that allows me to shift my paper over a little bit and make sure I've got it somewhat even. All right, so we're going to do that. And then I'm going to come in with some of, I think I'm going to do Secret C ribbon. And we're going to wrap this around. And I'm going to wrap it around. I'm going to cut it off. Do you see my little thing? I'm going to show you all how to make this. I won't do it today, but I'll show you another way. It keeps your ribbon from running all over the place. All right, so I'm just going to tie a ribbon around this. I'm going to tie it in a bow. So I want to make sure I have enough ribbon to do that. So I've got 1, 2. Typically, if you do four loops, 1, 2, I've got 2, that's 3, and 4. So let me get my ribbon scissors. That's how I was taught. It might be a little much, but we're going to go with that. Oops, I'm moving my pieces out of the way. All right, get back up there, guys. Okay, so I'm going to tie an actual bow. Hopefully I cut enough. And we'll tie that before we actually lay this down on our card. Let me see. Hang on a minute. I got to get this. You know how it is. You got to get it straight so you have enough to tie the bow. All right, there we go. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this around, and then we'll tie our bow. And everybody does their bows differently. I should have enough. Ribbon. So I'm just going to loop this, and then we'll pop this up on Dimensionals once I get this thing tied. You got to have, sometimes, and I don't know how other people do it, but you got to be kind of being able to do a lot with your fingers. So, and hopefully I cut this the right length because it looks like it might be a tad short, but let's see. We'll pull it through and then we'll adjust it as we need to. Let me get my tweezers. Hang on a minute. Sometimes I can't get to the edge that I need to pull, so I'll just pull in my tweezers, and then that helps. So there we go. I can get it pulled that way. Whoopsie. Hang on. See, I'm losing my piece. Hang on. See, now I didn't cut it long enough. All right, we're going to give it one more try. I know I make it look difficult, don't I? And if you don't want to tie it, you can just tie a knot, but we're going to do a bow. I should have cut it a little bit longer, but that's okay. Once we get it pulled through, we'll be fine. I'm going to get my, I use my tweezers because it helps me grab it. There we go. There we go. Now we've got it. There we go. There we go. Only takes a minute or two. Now see, All right, let's do this. I'm going to take this off. Hang on a minute. We're going to start all over. I'm going to cut another piece. So this is not long enough. Let me see, how many inches did I cut? I cut 13 inches. You think that would be enough, wouldn't you? All right, so let's pull out, cut the ribbon a little bit longer just to make sure I have enough. There we go. And we'll use this piece. We'll use this piece on another piece because we're going to do some other little bows and stuff. All right, here we go. Here we go. Now we got enough ribbon. Just, you're like an inch short, right? Okay, there we go. See, it helps if you just cut it right. We got plenty of ribbon. Now we're just going to loop it around and then we're going to get it all dressed up pretty. Get my thumb through there with my fingernails. There we go. There we go. And then we'll make it. Now we can adjust it. Okay. I always make things difficult, don't I? All right. So I'm holding the knot I'm going to tighten up my bring my ribbons down, the loops, because I don't want them that big. And then we're just going to start adjusting them as we need. So I'm going to pull. So I'm just going to play with this for just a second. So give me a minute. I'm going to pull this guy down, pull this one down. So to pull it down shorter, because when you tighten it up, it makes your bow bigger. There we go. See, I knew I could do that. All right, so we've got our bow here. Get him up where you want him. Bring my tails down, and then I'm going to cut the tail at an angle. And I'm going to cut this one at an angle as well. And then cut this one a little bit shorter. Let's do it this way. There we go. All right, so now we've got our pretty little bow. Don't you think? Okay. And you can fiddle with them all day long. You know what I mean? All right, so let's put this up on Dimensionals. And we're going to put that on here. And then I'm going to adjust my ribbon because I can see where it's a little crooked. Whoops, get him back on there. Get that there. Let me there we go. And I'm going to put one in the center. I need to get out another thing of Dimensionals. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Let me grab my pack. And we'll just put one right here just so that it gives it something to hold it up in the center as well. And we'll get those off. And then now what I should have done. So now I'm being the daredevil because I should have stamped before I put this on here. Now you could always emboss this piece if you want to do that as well, if you think it looks too plain, or you could stamp it, stamp it with whatever background stamp that you would like to stamp it in. All right, so now I'm going to stamp the image that the sentiment that I want. I'm going to actually stamp it instead of putting it on a piece of white cardstock. I am going to stamp it on the blue. Give me 1 second. I'm going to lift this up just a minute just so I can shift it up just a tad. Okay. All right. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to stamp Have a Jolly Christmas. Now, some of these stamps that I'm using for the holidays are retired. I probably have mentioned before, some of my holiday stamps I don't get rid of because I like to use them. All right. So now I'm going to stamp this in Secret C. So we're going to just make these as we go and just wish me luck that I get this stamped correctly. All right, so I'm going to stamp it right down here on the cloud cover. All right, and then there's our first card. And of course, I'll add my white piece on the inside. All right, so this is the 3x3. I'm going to set this off to the side, and then I'll bring them back in when we get to that point, okay? All right, so let me move this over here to where my cleaning pad is and get it out of the way. All right, so the next one we're going to go ahead and do, let's see, let's do these 3 little ones because that's the one I have next in line. Now, this is what I did. Okay, so here's this is the one I did. Here's the one I did yesterday for the same design. Now, this one, I used the white, it's retired white with the silver ribbon, satin ribbon, and I colored it with the green Stampin' Right marker, garden green, so it coordinated. So that's the one that I did in green, and then here's the one I just made for today. Okay. All right. So now we're going to move on to the 3 little 1-inch pieces. And that one we're going to do again on Secret C. And again, it's cut at 4 1/4. And let me move some of this out of the way here so I can make room. So I'm going to put the cards off to the side and then I'll bring them back at the end. Okay. All right. So here's our 3 1-inch pieces. And we've got our 5 1/4 scored, and our card base is 4 1/4 by 11. And I did several like this, and then I did some others. All right. And again, we're using the cloud cover at 5 by 5 1/4. And this one, we're going to take a piece of ribbon, which I'm going to go ahead and use the piece that I just tore off. We're going to use that, and I'm going to place this here. I'm going to wrap it around just at the top and the bottom, and then I'm going to attach these to the card base. So let me go ahead and put some seal, which I like to do. It's a lot easier for it to hold the ribbon when we're just want to have it, just hold it in place. All right, so I'm going to take that and just put a little piece right there. I'm going to bring this piece down, wrap it under, and then once I know it's straight, I'm going to go ahead and trim this off, and then I'll adjust it. So that one piece, I didn't waste it, so it did come in handy. All right, so now we're going to just adjust this over. It needs to come over a little bit. All right, I think that looks pretty straight. Okay, so we're going to lay that down here, and this is going to lay flat. So I'll go ahead and lay this down. So we'll attach that to the front of the card, and we'll put some adhesive on this. And then we're going to attach our pieces of designer paper. Since they're 1-inch squares, I cut 3 1 1/4 squares. So we're going to attach these to these 3 squares here. So that's going to make it pretty simple. And we're just going to line them up on that little band of ribbon. So we'll place that one there, and then we'll twist them once we decide how we want them. And then this one we'll glue down. So again, these are the 1 by 1. That one's going to go here. Now these probably could have been cut on the 1 1/8, but I think because the card, these are so small, it makes a little bit more sense to have it a little bit wider of a mat. All right, so we're going to lay that right there. And then we're going to stamp our sentiment on the cloud cover. Okay, now these we're going to pop up on dimensionals. So I'm going to go ahead and add dimensionals to this. And we're just going to put, I'll probably put 2, 1 on each side so it can kind of hold it and it's not flopping around. And, well, I guess it's, yeah, it should be fine. And if it holds on to the ribbon, that's okay. All right, so we'll do that. All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. We're just starting on the second card. This is a 6 by 6 one sheet wonder. All right, so now I'm going to attach these on the piece of ribbon. So it really is going to depend if you have a preference on which flowers go where. This is a full one, so I think I'll put that one in the center, and then I'll just top these off some. I'll just put them up here somewhere. We'll probably, maybe I'll put him at the bottom and this one at the top. So I'm just going to pull the backs off the dimensionals, and I'm going to lay that right about there. And before you tack it down, you can always look to see where you need to, how you want to measure. I'm going to put the bottom one down, and then I can figure out where to make sure that my center one's going to be centered. So I'll place this one right about here, and then I can put my center pretty much centered. And you know, if you're particular and want to make sure, you can always measure and make a little mark. I just kind of eyeball it. All right, so that's what we're going to do with those 3 squares. Now we're going to come in and we're going to do another stamp. And this is Friends Like You Make This Season Special. And again, we're using the Secret C, and that's going to be stamped to the right. So I'm going to open up my card so we don't have anything in the way as far as making sure we can get it flat and stamp. Now, normally I would not stamp after I've glued this down. So my recommendation is do not do this. Stamp first. But I wanted to put my stuff on here so that y'all can see. But if you know you're going to offset your picture, then you can stamp it before. Okay. So I'm just going to center this and stamp it right on the right-hand side. All right. And then we've got that stamped right there. And I'm going to close the ink up because I don't want it opened. All right. So there's the second card using the 3-inch, 1-inch strips. And then here is the one that I previously made out of the garden green and using a different holiday paper. So isn't that cute? I just love this. I love this. Such an easy technique. All right. The next one we're going to do, we are going to use, let's see, I'm going to work with this one and this one. And then I'm putting these two on the same card. Now, if you didn't want to do that, you could obviously use these separate, but I thought they were kind of small. So I'm going to make these on one card. So that's why out of here, we're only going to get 5 cards. So if we did this separate, you really could have gotten 6 or 7. Okay. All right. So again, we're doing this on Secret C. Now this one's cut at 8.5 by 5.5, and we've scored it at 4 1/4. And I'm going to move those up out of the way because we're going to put those on some mats. All right, let me set this off to the side for just a second. Now we're going to use cloud cover for our mats. So this is this is the 2 by 2. So that one's going to go on here, and then this is the 2 by 1. So that one's going to go here. And then we've got the 4 by 1/2 inches, and they will go on a strip of 4 by 1/2 inch. All right. So see how easy it comes together. So let's go ahead and glue these down, and then I'll show you how I'm going to put that on the card base. So again, and I could flip this over. I could have done the stars, but I just really like these flowers. I just think they're so pretty. I love this paper. I did a class yesterday, an in-person class, and I used some of that metallic paper we have. I'm going to have to order some more, and so I can show you what we did as far as how to make the card with it. Oh my God, it was absolutely stunning. They just fell in love with it. Okay, so there's those 2 pieces, right? Now we're going to move those up there for just a second, and these are cut. These, again, are the 1/2 inch. So this is 3/4 of an inch. I apologize. 1/2 inch. This is 3/4. So we're going to lay we could flip this upside down. Why do we do that? I think I'll do that because that might be a little much. Let's flip these over, and I'll show you why. We're going to flip these over, and we're going to have the stars show. That way, it's not going to make our card look really busy. Okay. So let's go ahead and put that down here. And it's perfect because it's the cloud cover stars with this Secret C background. So we'll do the same thing on this piece. And we'll go ahead and add that here. All right. And then we'll just set that right here. Yeah, you get these little tiny pieces. You got to, okay, we'll put it like that. And then I'm going to move it because that way I can see this way. I can tell if it's crooked or not. You got to be careful because it's deceiving when you cut the paper and you have this stuff right on the edge, right? Okay. Now this one, I'm not going to put a base because we're using the cloud cover. So I'm going to have this card open. I know, don't you love this paper? It is really a pretty paper. And that's the secret, secret. What did I call it? It's just beautiful. Peaceful Garden. I just made a bunch of cards with that too. Okay. So our base is going to be the 5.5 by 8.5, but we're going to have it open like this rather than like a book. Okay. So here's my plan. We're going to put this here, that there, and then we're going to lay these up at the top. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to have these at the top, and I think that's going to, I think I like that much better. So that's what we'll do. And I'm going to I'm going to lay these down flat, and then I'm going to pop up the sentiment on dimensionals. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get my first piece on here because I want to get this centered. All right. So we'll center this one down as centered as I can get it. And of course, you know me, I'm eyeballing it, right? So we're going to do that one. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to place this one here. So let's put some adhesive on the back of that. All right. And let's see, let's put him, I'm going to put it right about here. Because I think if I put him here, let me move it. I think I need to move it over just a tad because I'm going to put this one this way. No, I'm going to put it this way. So we'll move it like that. So let's move him over. Yeah, I think that'll work. All right. So we're going to move that, put that one there, and then I'm going to put this one in this direction. Let me see which way looks better. Whoopsie. Let's see which way looks better. I don't really guess it's going to make a difference because the flowers, I think I'm going to put it like this, even though the direction of the paper is going this way. I think it'll be fine. I don't think anybody's going to notice that because we're going to have the sentiment on there as well. So that's going to cover some of that up. So I think it'll be fine. And then I'm going to place this right here. Make sure we've got it. And I'm a little bit off, but I'm not going to be too concerned about that. It's handmade, so just remember it doesn't have to be perfect, right? That takes the joy out of it. And then we'll lay this here. I will try to line these up as even as I can. I think that's pretty good. So we'll lay that right there. Now I should have moved that up a little bit, but that's fine. It's no big deal. All right, so that's that. And then I came in with Season's Greetings, which I stamped in the Secret C. And I was debating about stamping some holiday colors up there. But then the more I thought about it, I thought, nah, that's not going to look right. So we'll just use some of the elements that come with this particular suite. So I've already got the dimensionals on here. So we'll go ahead and add this. And then I'm going to add these little, I guess they're supposed to be stars or snowflakes. I'm not sure what they are. So I'm going to place that, see how it's going to kind of cover up. I'm going to push that right in the center of the card. And then I'm going to come in. These are the hues of blues. They're flowers. And they come in Secret Sea, Misty Moonlight, Cloud Cover, and white. So I'm going to add a few of these on the card and we'll lighten it up. So I think, should I do, all right, this is Misty Moonlight or the Cloud Cover. Cloud Cover is that, which one do you think I should put on the sentiment? What do you all think? Leave me a quick hello. Hey, Linda. Oh, so I'm thinking maybe the Misty Moonlight, just to give it a little pop so that we're not using all three of the same colors. So if y'all want to make a quick response before, I know there's about a 15-second delay. I think this Secret Sea will be too dark because we've got that. We have the cloud cover here. So I'm thinking the Misty Moonlight would look a lot prettier. All right, so there's what that looks like. You like the Misty Moonlight? Or let's see and then here's what cloud cover would look like. So let me put these both on my scissors. Okay, so there's you got cloud cover or Misty Moonlight. I kind of like the Misty Moonlight myself. So I think we'll do that. Let's go with the Moonlight. So I'm going to take this one and I'm just going to put, I think I'll put 3 up here. I'm going to put a big one and then I'll put a little one in the center. And then we'll do a big one right there. All right, so whoops, let's move him up a little bit because he's a little too close to the greeting. Hang on, let me just get him positioned. There we go. All right, so there's that one. Okay, so that's using the 2x2, the 2x1, and then these 4x1 1/2 inch 4x1/2, 4x1/2, and that's this one and this one. And at the end, for those that have just joined, I have a cutting mat too, and I'll put these two together so you can see them when we get done. All right, so there's that particular card. And again, on the inside, I'll put my white piece and then I'll write my message or whatever. I think that looks good with the Misty. It kind of pulls in that little bit of color back there. All right, so there's that design. So we're going to put this one off to the side. Let's move this out of the way. Now, here's the one that I did on made out of the garden green paper that I was showing. And this is the from the Traditions of Christmas paper. And this is the back side. So I put that on real red, garden green. And again, these are old retired Christmas sayings. And then I thought this was cute because it looked like kind of like a wrapping. So that's what I did for that particular, for the same design, different colors and different paper. See how it makes so much difference. All right, so that's that one. All right, now we're going to move into this one. This is the 3x2. So our 3x2 inch. And I'm going to do that on the Secret C as well. And this one, again, we're doing it 8.5 by 5.5. So I'm going to fold it, and I've already got it scored. I just need to get it folded. Let me get the fold and get it burnished. I love using these templates, the One Sheet Wonder templates, because they're so easy. And it gives you a starting point of how to cut your paper. And then once you cut it, you just design however you want to design your paper, right? It just makes it, to me, it just makes it easier. And you can get, in this case, I'm getting 5 cards. But as I mentioned before, if we had separated these, we probably could have gotten 7 or even 8. So it all depends on how you want to put them together. And I'll bring everything out again when we get towards the end. All right, now this one I'm going to do where it opens like a book. And since this is the 3x2, then I cut a mat of 3.25 by 2.25. So that's going to go right like that. All right. And then, so let me go ahead and glue that down. Now, I can do, and I'll show you in just a second. Let me get my other, we can do the Secret C. If I can get this up off so I can pick it up. Or I have some white, which I did, and maybe we could wrap it in white. All right, so that's what it's going to look like, okay? So we can either do, let me just give you y'all can respond back. We have choices. We have this new, it came out in the holiday catalog. It's Fluffy Trim. It's a white fluffy. Y'all can see, get a little bit better. It's a little fluffy. So we could do the white and tie it in a knot, or we can do the cloud cover, or we can do the Secret C. So whichever, we'll put that one there. I'm thinking we should do the white is what I think. I think this is going to be too dark because of the base. So really, in my opinion, we have a choice of cloud cover or the puffy white. So you all tell me which one you want me to use. And that's what we'll do. So let me know. I'll wait while you tell me that, because I don't want to put this, glue this down yet until we get our ribbon decided. So let me know which you would like, the fluffy white, and I'll tie it in a knot, which kind of looks like a bow, or we can use the cloud cover, and that's going to coordinate just as well, or we could do the white. So those are our choices. So give me a response. Welcome, everyone. I've got the chat on. So if you want to make a comment, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, I'll be able to see your comments. And we'll give you another 5 or 6 seconds, because I know there's about a 15-second delay. I'm thinking the white. But we can do either one's going to be fine. Okay, we have one white. We have 2 whites counting me if I count. All right. Going once. Going twice. Anybody else want to make a comment? Okay. All right, let's go with the white. Let's see how that looks. If we don't like it, we'll just take it off, right? So we'll just cut it off. All right, so let me, we're going to tie this in a knot. So I think I only need, let me see. We'll just cut, because I don't like to waste my ribbon. So I'm going to wrap it 3 times. I think 3 times with a little to spare. So we'll cut that as soon as I locate my ribbon scissors. Bear with me. Oh, I've got my trimmer sitting on top of them. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. I love this little, I just started using this little fluffy white. It's really puffy white. It's really cute. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We'll go with the white. So let me get my leaves going in the right direction. And then we're going to wrap this around and tie it in kind of, we're not going to do a bow. We're just going to tie it in a knot and make it look like it's like it's got a little bow to it. If that makes sense. And that way, then I can, we'll pop this up on dimensional. So I'm just going to tie it like that. And we're going to hopefully, and again, you got to keep in mind that when you have this kind of ribbon, we got to do a little twisting because we're going to see the back side. So I'm going to twist it so I can get, so the puffy side shows. So I'm doing a little manipulating of the ribbon. And it's kind of a big fat knot, but I think that will be fine. And then we just need to get it to curl. And that we might have to play with this for a minute or two, but I'll definitely cut off the pieces where it's twisting and curling under. So let's go ahead and I'm going to trim this off just a tad, and then I'm going to trim this one. And I think what I'm going to do is I'll just have to come back and just fight with it. And you can always put a glue dot on it. There we go. You can always put a glue dot on it if you'd like to get it to stay in place. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put some dimensionals on the back of this one. And let me pull in my bottom pieces here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put a piece there and a dimensional there. We'll put one here. And I don't think we need one in the center because that puffiness is puffy. So I don't think we need to put one there. So we'll go ahead and get that. Get my scissors out of the way. And we'll get this one. And we're almost done. We just have one more card to do. And then I'll show you everything again. And again, I love these templates because it just makes it so simple and easy. All right, now I'm going to put a sentiment down here. So that's why I'm going to move this up a little bit higher. And my sentiment, I think I'm going to place this right about there. I mean, it's a very simple card, but I think it's really beautiful. All right, so there's that. And then again, I'm doing a Merry Christmas, and I stamped this in Secret C. So we're going to pop this up on dimensionals as well. So everybody's popped up, looking happy. All right, and then we're going to place that right here. There we go. Now, isn't that cute? I think that white looks really good. Sorry, I was filling my water. Oh, that's okay. That's right. But I think the white looks better. I think the blue would have been fine. I think this would have been fine, but I think the white just really makes it pop. And then here's the one that I did using this one. And then I use this sentiment because to me, this one kind of looked like a gift. So I put Happy Gift Wrapping Season on this particular one. So there you go. There's 2 different, just to give you 2 different ideas with the different types of designer paper. All right, so that was the 3x2 piece that we used right here. All right, okay, now we're going to get down to the last card. And this one, we're using Secret C again, and we've got it at the 4 1/4 by 11. Give me a second so I can get it up. 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. So we'll go ahead and fold our card base, get it positioned. And thank you everyone for stopping in on your Saturday. I know that sometimes your Saturdays, if you're working still, you know, you don't want to sit in front of a computer, but thank you. I do appreciate it. And again, if you wanted to emboss the background, you could do that as well. So again, I'm using the cloud cover, which is 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. And then we're going to take our strips and we're just going to place those on, each of them on a piece of Secret C as a border. So again, I'm going to line this up, and again, if you don't want a quarter, like 1/8 of an inch, basically, if you cut this at 5 1/4, then you will just get, you can make it a little bit smaller if you want. Okay, these are the these are the pieces right here that we have left are 4 by 1. So now we're going to use our base of 4 1/4 by 1 1/4, and we're going to put those on here. So I'm going to place these on here. Now we may turn this card. I don't know yet. We're going to see how what the flowers look like when we put it on here. So if we don't want it to open this way, we may turn it and open it this way. So we're going to see how it looks once I put this paper on here. Okay. So let's go ahead and add our adhesive. And I'm going to do, let me think about this. I really love these flowers. I think they're pretty. I'm thinking, I think I'm going to go with the flowers, and I think I'm going to turn it sideways, actually. So that way our leaves are, the images are connecting. So let's go ahead. We're going to leave the stars. They're going to go, we're going to cover those up. All right. So this is one of the pieces. So we're going to lay that right there. We've got that on there. Get that shifted just a little bit. All right. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one. I do like the stars though, but it's so hard to cover up the flowers. I just love the flowers. I like the stars, but the flowers are just so much prettier. All right. So let's do, all right. We're going to put this one right here. All right. We're going to lay that down. Let me slide it down a little bit. There we go. And move it up a little. See, that's why the liquid glue helps, because it allows you to kind of shift things. You got a few seconds to do that. And let's try moving this one up just a little bit. All right. So I'm thinking, so if we do it this way, see, the flowers are kind of going wonky. But if we turn it to where it opens like a book to the left, we can line it up like this and see how our flowers connect. So I think that would be pretty to do it that way, even though some of that's going to be covered up with our sentiment, which I've die cut. And then this is this is one of, I think, the nested dies, if I'm not mistaken, which I think these are retired as well. So if I put it there, it's going to cover. I could offset it. So what do you all think? If I put it here, it's still going to cover up those flowers. And if I did it this way, then that's how it would be. So what do y'all think? Should we do it in the landscape? Or if I got to turn it this way, or do it in the horizontal? Which do y'all think? And I can do it like this. We do it in horizontal. We could actually stagger, which might look nice. We could stagger them. What do y'all think? Stagger them in the portrait mode. And then this kind of will cover up, which it's not going to matter. Or we can put them in horizontal, even to even. I'm kind of thinking this way. Let me know. Give me your thoughts on that. If you want to make a response. Horizontal, which would be like this, and we keep them, we don't stagger them, so we just keep them even. We could go like that. Or we could do, that's horizontal, or we could do portrait mode and stagger them, and it would go like that. And this is going to be popped up on Dimensionals. Landscape. Okay. All right. We'll wait for someone else. I'm going to go ahead and add my Dimensionals while I'm waiting for responses. So we're going to go ahead and put our Dimensionals on here while we're waiting. So that way I'm not keeping y'all. Let me cut another few pieces off. So landscape, we got a landscape. Do we want landscape? I think landscape would be pretty. Either one is going to work. So it really, it's up to y'all, whichever you decide y'all want me to do. All right. Vote before you can. I'm getting almost to the last dimensional on the back of this thing. Okay, we're going to go with landscape. All right, so we're going to go with landscape. All right, so it's going to open that way like a book. And we're going to place now we could separate, we could do these at an angle, but I think this way, I think it'd be better. I think the horizontal, the portrait one would probably look better but we'll do it like this. So we'll do, well, you know what, we could stagger them. Nah, I think that's going to be weird to the eye. So I think we'll leave them together and we'll put a little space between them. Like your first placement you showed. This one, this is the first one, and then it will go like that. And then this one, we could stagger it and it could go like that. So let's do this way. Let's do the landscape. I think that would be something different. And then I'll show you the horizontal one that I did. I did it in portrait mode. So we'll just go ahead and glue these down. And then, and you know, we could always offset that. Now we'll just put this in the center. All right, let's do that. See, if you start thinking too much about it, then we'll never make a decision. So we're making the decision. We're going to go landscape for a change. All right, so we're going to lay that right about there. Okay, and then this one we're going to lay probably about like that. Not too much space between them, but we're going to leave enough. And then we've got our sentiment that I've already stamped, so we'll put that in the center. All right, so let's lay these down. Okay, so we're going to go like that. This is beautiful paper, you guys. And really, this could be used all year, even with the stars, because they're not Christmas. That's a star thing. All right, so there's the landscape, and I've got them pretty much lined up. And then this is going to be popped up. And again, another Christmas sentiment that's retired. So just keep in mind to use, you know, you can use the stuff that you have on hand. I keep a lot of my Christmas stuff because and I went back and saw, oh my gosh, some of my stamps. I'm going to make cards with those too, especially since I'm doing the craft fair. All right, so this says, may this be a Christmas to remember and cherish. So I'm going to place this right here. And I'm going to try to get it centered. Okay, so now we've got that on there. And it looks kind of plain Jane-ish. So let's put some of our little doohickey thingies, our little flowers. And I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to put a secret C down at the bottom. And then let's see what it looks like if I put the mist. Yeah, let's do a cloud cover. We're going to do 2 cloud covers, and we're going to do the bigger ones. We'll put those at the top. That gives me my 3, my odd shape, my odd numbers. Let me move this up just a little bit. All right. So there's this design. So this is using the 4x1s right here. And then this way we've got it in the 4 1/4 by 11, but we have it opening to the left like a book. And then this is the one that I did with the other. So there's one that I did. And I felt after I did this one, the white was really too stark to me. So I probably should have embossed this because it looks kind of plain Jane. But I think this one, because it's a little bit duller, not as bright as the white. But there's the two, the differences with those two types of cardstock. Designer paper. Okay, so let me pull in the cards that we've created. And whoopsie. With this template. And again, if you're just joining, let me just show you the template and then I'll bring the cards in real quick. So here is the template for cutting your DSP. So your pattern paper is this one. And then if you want to cut your mats and you want to take a screenshot of this, or you can come back. This is cut. These are based on using 1/8 of an inch. I did 1/4 of an inch, just to let you know. So take a screenshot of that. And I'll put them back up after I show you the cards, or I'll leave them right there. Okay, so let's go back and show the cards one more time. Okay, so this is the 4x1s right there. So there's that one. This is the 3x2. There's that one. And here is the collage of 2x2, 2x1, and the 4x ½ inch is that one. And then we've got the 3 1-inch squares is right here. And then this is our 3x3. that we did. So those are the cards that we made using this sketch. And then let me move these up just a little bit. So those are 5 cards. Now, again, you could have taken some of these apart and you could have made 5, 6, 7 cards, basically. And then here are the ones that I made using a different type of paper. So you just see the difference of what it looks like. Well, I can't get them all in the picture, but you can see the difference of what it looks like just by using different pattern paper and colored cardstock. All right, so those are the cards that we made with this template. I'm going to move this over onto the matte side. And then if you haven't screenshotted the actual template, then you can go ahead and get a picture of that now. And then these are the cards that we created with this template. Okay, I hope you all enjoyed this. Thank you so much for taking time out of your Saturday morning to watch me create these cards. Again, they're very simple. If you're a beginner, this is perfect. If you're experienced, it's even better because sometimes we just want to make easy cards and we don't want to have to think about it. So there are my take on this template. So if you use this template and make some cards, make sure that share them on our Facebook page, or if you're on YouTube, you can post a picture there or come back to the Facebook page and show me what you've done. Okay, everyone. Thank you again for spending your Saturday with me. I greatly appreciate it. And I almost made it on time. It's 12:35. All right, everyone. Have a great weekend. I will not be here next week, but I do have a video recorded for Tuesday evening. And other than that, there will not be any. I don't know if I'll have another video, but there's no fundamental technique classes or anything. I'll be back the 22nd, which is a Wednesday. We'll be back late that evening. Okay, everyone. Thank you again. I hope you enjoyed this and have a great weekend. Enjoy your week, and I'll talk to y'all when I return. Bye now.